Alright, so we already talked about number 1. Remember, you undo adding and subtracting first, so we subtracted the 5, then you undo multiplying and dividing, so we divided by 5, and we ended up with n equals 8. Now, if you want credit on this, you need to show all your steps, so make sure you're not just writing n equals 8, make sure you're actually showing all the steps that we did the first time, okay? Number 2, we need to undo subtracting 3. You undo subtracting 3 by adding 3, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. Negative 11 plus 3, the signs are different, so you subtract the numbers, keep the sign of the larger one. So that's going to give us a negative 8 on the right. And then we want to undo dividing by 6. How do you undo dividing? Multiplying. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. On the left side, I have just the y. On the right side, that's negative 48. Alright, number 3, we have an extra step at the beginning because we need to distribute. So when I distribute the 4 times 1g is 4g, minus 4 times 1 is 4, and that equals 24. Now we undo the subtracting 4. How do you undo subtracting 4? Add 4. Good. So I have 4g equals 28. How do you undo multiplying by 4? Divide by 4. When you divide both sides by 4, you get g equals 7. Number 4, we called these bodyguard problems. Remember, when you're dividing an entire side by a number, you have to undo that first. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 15. That gives me v plus 9 equals 0 times 15 is 0. How do you undo adding 9? We subtract 9 from both sides. We get that v equals negative 9. I'll give you a second to get those down. Alright, so for number 5, it's written kind of backwards. The variable's in the back. Some people like to rewrite it right away. I don't really care. It doesn't make much difference to me. We still want to undo the adding and subtracting first. So how do I undo adding 8? Subtract 8 from both sides. Now you have negative 40 minus 8, so you're going more into the negative. That's negative 48. And that's going to equal 12x. How do you undo multiplying by 12? Divide by 12. So that gives us negative 4 in the front equals x. A lot of people like to rewrite it with the x in the front. I don't really care. If you want to rewrite it with the x in the front, that's fine. If you don't, leave it negative 4 equals x, that's fine. These are not like inequalities. We've done inequalities since we've done equations. That the order does matter where the x is. Here it doesn't really matter. Alright, number 6, we want to undo subtracting 3. How do I undo subtracting 3? Add 3. So we have negative 2p equals negative 16. Then what? Divide by negative 2. So you have a p in the front, and that equals a negative divided by a negative is a positive 8. Very good. Alright, number 7 is another bodyguard problem, so we got to undo that big dividing by 2. You undo a big dividing by 2, which is a regular size multiplying by 2. So 2 times 13 is what we have in the front, that's 26. Equals w minus 14. How do you undo subtracting 14? You add 14. So that's 40 equals w, which you might want to rewrite as w equals 14. Or 40. It doesn't matter. If you want to circle this, great. If you want to circle that, great. Number 8. We want to undo the adding 1. It's kind of written out of order, but remember that 7 is the multiplication by the a, so we don't want to do that. We want to get rid of the 1. We get rid of adding 1 by subtracting 1. So this is going to be 35 equals 7a. Divide. Divide. We get that 5 equals a. I'm going to go ahead and circle that one just to show you that that is an option. You don't need to rewrite it if you don't want to rewrite it. Alright, number 9, we need to subtract negative 11. Minus a negative is the same thing as addition. So I'm actually just going to write plus 11. So 2 equals b over 8. How do you get rid of b divided by 8? You multiply by 8. So 16 equals b, or b equals 16. It doesn't really matter, whichever way you prefer. And last on the front page, this one's a little different because what do we have on both sides? Variables. The variables are on both sides. When the variables are on both sides, we typically pick on the little guy. So I want to move this entire 2q. So I'm going to subtract 2q from both sides. Remember, you can only subtract q's from q's. So don't subtract it from the 10. People get a little crazy with that step. So we have 10 equals 7q minus 2q is 5q. And then it should just look like all the last steps. You just get rid of the multiplication by dividing. So that's 2 equals q, or the more popular way is q equals 2. Kind of rhymes. Q, 2, 2, Q. Alright, I'll give you a second to catch up on the front. Number 11 on the back. Remember, number 10, the variables were on both sides, so we had to use inverse operations to get them together. Here, the variables are on the same side. So what's 3x plus 2x? 5x. When they're on the same side, you can just combine like terms right away. Alright, what next? Subtract the 7. And last? Divide by the 5. Good. So x equals 7. Nice work. Number 12. Are they on the same side or different sides? Same side. Just go ahead and combine them. So we have the 85 still equals 4x plus 7x is 11x plus the 8. Yeah, subtract that 8 from both sides. So that's 77 equals 11x. So what's the x going to equal? 7 when you divide by 11. So 7 equals x, or again, if you want to get fancy, you can do x equals 7. Whichever you prefer. Alright, number 13. Same side, different sides. Same, so go ahead and combine the like terms. 6x plus 6x is 12x. Plus 3 equals 63. So 12x equals 60. And then we get that x equals 10. Oh, nope, 5. Sorry. Messing myself up. Alright, 14. Same side or different sides? What? Same. The x's are on the same side of the equal sign, so you can add them. 1x and 1x is 2x. Minus minus. So 2x equals 10. What's the final step on this one? Divide both sides by 2. And what's x going to equal?
8.
5. Come on. Come on. So we have 7, 7, 5, and 5. Let's see if 15 and 16 match. All right, number 15. Same side or different sides? Yeah, they're on different sides. 7x is on the left side of the equal sign. 3x is on the right side. This is where we pick on the little guy to move it over to the big guy. So we're going to subtract 3x from both sides. On the right, that leaves us with no more x's. We subtracted them all. On the left, we still have the 5. But now we have to do 7x minus 3x, so we have 4x. And then 53. Alright, so I need to subtract the 5. We undo adding 5 by subtracting 5. So we have 4x equals 48. And what's the final step? Divide by 4. Divide by 4, so x equals 12. Can you guys all see that down there? Whoa, you cannot. Let me write it up here. X equals 12. Yeah, that should be a test of if you're listening. Like, I'll write all the work, but I won't write the answer, you know? That'd be fun. Alright, number 16. Same side or different sides? Different. So that's when you need to do the opposite, or the inverse. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. That gives me 10 plus 3x equals 37. You want to get rid of that adding 10 by subtracting 10. So 3x is going to equal 27. And then what happens when you divide by 3? You get 27 divided by 3.
Wait, let me get it. 7. Divided by 3 is 9.
9. Thank you. This is painful for a Friday. Same side or different sides? Different. So I need to pick on the little guy. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. On the left side, that leaves me with 7 equals 5x minus 3x is 2x minus 17. Alright, so we need to add 17, add 17. Alright, and what's the final step?
Divide by 2.
Divide both sides by 2. X equals 12 or 12 equals x. Good. Same thing. Alright, the rest of these we have even one more step at the beginning. It's to distribute. So like number 18, for example. What's 4 times 2x? Plus, what's 4 times 2? Yes, you're good.
Yes.
What? Did I say it wrong? Alright, now it's just like one from the beginning. So subtract 8. And then divide by 8. Alright, you guys ready for 19 or you need a second to catch up? Okay, I'll take your silence as you are ready to go. 4 times 7 is... Four times 7 is 28. Thank you. Plus, what's 4 times x? 4x, and that's going to equal 44. If you're into that line of equality, make sure you're doing it. I keep forgetting. Alright, the 4 and the x are being multiplied, so we don't want to mess with that yet. Let's mess with the 28. So we're going to subtract 28 from both sides. So 4x equals... What do we get back there? 16. Good. And then divide. Divide. What's x equal? Nope. Nope. 16 divided by 4, everybody. 4. Alright, what's 6 times 7?
46 or 42?
42. Plus, what's 6 times 3x? 18x equals 204.
Minus 18. No, minus 42.
Minus the 42, good.
It's 162.
Hey.
162, I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay.
Alright, and then
18.
divide 162 by 18.
Yes. There'll be 9.
There'll be 9.
9. I'll say it clearly. 9. Okay, so here's the deal. This is due for credit with all the steps shown. So I'm going to embarrass this person from my first hour. See how they just have x equals 7, x equals negative 4, x equals 40. This person is not getting credit, okay? So if you did not show all your work, you have the rest of the hour to show your work or take it home with you.